There was a time when the land of Judah fell silent. The rain no longer came, and the fields that once danced with golden wheat now lay bare beneath the sun. Hunger spread across Bethlehem like a shadow, stealing joy from every home. Among those who left was a family, Elimelech, his wife Naomi, and their two sons, Mahlon and Chilion. They set their faces toward the east, to the land of Moab, hoping to escape the famine that devoured their homeland. But though they fled from hunger, they could not flee from sorrow. I am Ruth, a daughter of Moab. When I first met Mahlon, I did not know his God, nor the covenant he made with his people. Yet there was something different about him, a quiet strength, a hope that did not depend on the season. He spoke of a God who saw the humble and lifted the broken. And though I did not yet believe, I listened, and I loved him. But time is cruel to those who dream. Elimelech, the father, died in a foreign land. Then Mahlon, my husband, and Chilion, his brother, were taken by illness. In a single breath, 3 women were left alone: Naomi, Orpah, and I. Widows in a place that was never ours. I watched Naomi's eyes fade each morning as she gazed toward the west, toward the hills of Judah. Her heart was buried there, where she had once known laughter. And one morning, she whispered,
"Sometimes
the Lord has visited his people again. The famine has ended. I will return home." She rose to leave, weary yet determined. We followed her partway, until she stopped on the dusty road and said, "My daughters, go back to your mother's homes. The Lord grant that you find rest, each in the house of your husband." Her voice trembled as she kissed us goodbye. Orpah turned away, her tears lost in the wind, but I could not. Something within me burned, not only love for her, but a faith I had never known. I held her hands and said, "Do not urge me to leave you, or to turn back from following you. Where you go,
I will go.
I will go.
And
Where you stay, I will stay. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God." Naomi looked into my eyes, and though grief still clouded them, a spark of warmth returned. Together, we turned toward the long road home, 2 widows walking toward an unknown future. The sun was setting behind the hills, painting the horizon with gold. We carried no bread, no wealth, no promise of rest. Only faith, and a seed of redemption that neither of us could yet see. The road to Bethlehem was long and silent. Each step carried the weight of memory. Every stone, every breath, felt like a question. What awaits us there? Naomi said little. Her eyes stayed on the horizon, where the hills of Judah rose like faded dreams. I followed behind her, my feet aching, my heart torn between fear and faith. But something deep within whispered, "Keep walking." When we finally reached the gates of Bethlehem, the city stirred. The women of the town turned to one another in disbelief. "Is this Naomi?"
Did you hear about what
they
happened with
murmured.
Jessica?
She was older now, worn by grief, her face shadowed by years of sorrow. Naomi lifted her eyes and said, "Do not call me Naomi, which means pleasant. Call me Mara, for the Almighty has dealt bitterly with me. I went away full, and the Lord has brought me back empty." Her words hung in the air like a wound. The people fell silent, unsure whether to comfort or fear the God she spoke of. And so we entered the city, a foreigner beside a broken woman, unnoticed, unwanted, yet seen by heaven. The barley harvest had just begun. Each morning, I rose before dawn and went to the fields to gather what was left behind. The reapers cut the stalks, and I followed quietly, collecting the scattered grains. The sun burned my back. Dust filled my lungs, but I worked with hope, because even in small things, God was kind. That day, I came to a field owned by a man named Boaz. I did not know his name then, nor that he was a relative of Elimelech, Naomi's husband. I only knew that his land felt different. There was peace in the air, as if mercy had taken root there long ago. When Boaz arrived, he greeted his workers with words I had never heard before. "The Lord be with you." And they answered, "The Lord bless you." I paused, watching. There was something about him, a quiet authority, a gentleness that commanded respect without fear. Later, he saw me among the gleaners. He asked his servant, "Who is that young woman?" The overseer
Ruth,
replied,
continue harvesting.
"She is the Moabite who
The
came
schedule
back with
must be
Naomi."
maintained.
Boaz looked toward me, and for a moment our eyes met. The master of the field and the foreigner gathering crumbs. He said nothing yet, but the way he looked at me, it was not with judgment, but with understanding, as though he saw not what I was, but what I could become. I didn't know it then, but that was the day grace found me. Boaz walked toward me, his shadow falling across the golden field. For a moment, I froze, afraid I had trespassed where I did not belong. But his voice was gentle, carrying both strength and kindness. "My daughter," he said, "listen to me. Don't go and glean in another field. Stay here, close to my servant girls. I've told the men not to harm you.
When
You're thirsty,
go to the
drink
jars
from the
and
jars
drink.
they've filled." His words
Ruth,
struck me like
your
cool
faith
water
is a
in the
wellspring
desert.
in the wilderness.
No one had ever spoken to me with such care.
He's
I bowed low to the ground and whispered, "Why have I found favor in your eyes, that you should notice me, a foreigner?"
foreigner.
Boaz smiled, his eyes soft yet steady. "I've been told all about what you've done for your mother-in-law since your husband died. How you left your father, your mother, your homeland to come among a people you did not know. May the Lord repay you for what you've done. May you be richly rewarded by the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." His words sank deep into my heart. Under his wings. That was a place I had only dreamed of. Safety, belonging, purpose. And somehow, through this man, I began to feel it again. When the sun reached its highest point, Boaz called to me, "Come and eat." I sat among the reapers, hesitant, unsure. But he handed me bread and dipped it in vinegar, the taste both sharp and sweet, a reminder that even bitterness could turn to blessing. I ate until I was full, and still there was more. He told his workers, "Let her gather even among the sheaves. Do not embarrass her, and pull out some stalks from the bundles for her to pick up." They obeyed, and I saw mercy in every stalk that fell to the ground. When the day ended, I beat out what I had gathered, more than 20 pounds of barley. I carried it back to Naomi, my heart light with joy. She looked at the grain, her tired eyes brightening. "Where did you glean today?" she asked. "Blessed
May
be
you
the
be
man who
blessed."
took notice of you," I told her. "The man's name is Boaz."
man's name.
At that moment, something changed in Naomi's face. Hope, faint but real, flickered in her eyes. "Boaz," she whispered.
Boaz.
"He is one of our
He is
redeemers."
one of our redeemers.
And I knew then that God was weaving threads I could not yet see, turning our sorrow into something sacred, our emptiness into the first harvest of grace.
Where you
Naomi's words
I will
lingered
go.
in my mind long
go,
after
your
the
people
sun went
will be
down.
my people.
"My daughter," she
you
had
must
said,
listen to me now.
"I must find a
This
home
journey
for
will be
you,
long and
that it may
difficult,
go well with
but
you.
I will be with you.
Tonight, Boaz will be winnowing barley at the
threshing
threshing
floor.
floor. Wash yourself,
Wash and anoint
put
yourself.
on your best clothes,
Put on your finest
and go down
clothes.
quietly. Do not let him see you until he has finished eating and drinking. When he
You
lies
must
down,
mark the place
mark
where
the
he
place
lies
where he
down to
rests.
rest.
Then go, uncover his feet, and lie down. He will tell you what to do. He listened, my heart trembling, not out of fear of Boaz, but of what this act meant. It was more than a request. It was a surrender, a step into the unknown, guided only by faith. The night air was cool when I arrived at the threshing floor. The scent of grain hung in the air, and the soft rhythm of winnowing echoed through the silence. I watched from a distance as Boaz worked, his movements steady and strong, a man of both labor and grace. When he had eaten and drunk, he lay down beside the heap of grain, content and unaware of my presence. I waited until the stars were bright overhead, until the world itself seemed to hold its breath. Then, quietly, I approached. Each step felt like the beat of my heart, steady, uncertain, holy. I knelt beside him, lifted the corner of his cloak, and lay down at his feet. For a moment, there was only silence, the smell of earth, the whisper of wind, and the weight of destiny between us. Then, startled, he turned and said, "Who are you?" "I am Ruth, your servant," I whispered. "Spread the corner of your garment over me, for you are a guardian redeemer of our family." Boaz sat up, his eyes soft but serious. "The Lord bless you, my daughter," he said. "This kindness, greater than the first, shows your loyalty. You did not run after the young men, whether rich or poor. And now, my daughter, do not be afraid. I will do for you all you ask, for everyone in this town knows you are a woman of noble character." He paused, his gaze steady. "It is true that I am a close relative, but there is one nearer than I. Stay here for the night. If he will redeem you, good. Not if not. As the Lord lives, I will redeem you." I lay again at his feet, not in shame, but in peace. The kind that comes when you know heaven has seen your tears and begun to answer in quiet, gentle ways. Before dawn, I rose to leave. He placed grain into my shawl, a silent promise, and said, "Do not go back to your mother-in-law empty-handed." As I walked through the early light, I felt something new stirring inside me. Not just hope, but the beginning of redemption. Morning came softly over Bethlehem. Golden light spilled across the rooftops, and the sound of merchants waking echoed through the narrow streets. Boaz walked toward the city gate, the place where matters of law and honor were decided. He was a man of peace, but today he came with purpose. He sat down and waited. Before long, the nearer kinsman, the one who had first right to redeem, passed by. Boaz called to him,
"Sit down."
"Come over, friend, sit down." And he gathered 10 elders of the city to witness what would unfold. When all were seated, Boaz spoke clearly,
"Come and sit down.
his voice steady
I have
as
something
stone.
important to say.
Naomi has returned from the country of Moab.
Naomi has returned
She is selling the
from
land
Moab.
that belonged to our brother Elimelech. If you wish to redeem it, do so in the presence of these witnesses. But if not, tell me, for you are first in line, and I am next." The man nodded. "I will redeem it," he said without hesitation. But Boaz continued, his eyes unwavering. "On the day you buy the land from Naomi, you also acquire Ruth the Moabite, the widow of the dead man, to maintain the name of the deceased with his inheritance." The man's face changed. He hesitated, the weight of obligation heavy in his silence. Then he said, I cannot redeem it for myself. It might endanger my own estate. You redeem it instead. I cannot do it." In the custom of Israel, the man removed his sandal and handed it to Boaz, a symbol that the rite of redemption had passed. The elders nodded solemnly, the
Heavenly
witnesses
Father,
murmuring
we
their
thank you.
approval.
Amen.
Boaz stood and spoke before them all. Today, you are witnesses that I have bought from Naomi all that belonged to Elimelech, Kilian, and Mahlon. And I have also acquired Ruth the Moabite, Mahlon's widow, to be my wife, to preserve the name of the dead with his property, so that his name will not disappear among his people or from his hometown. The elders and the people responded as one. We are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who comes into your home like Rachel and Leah, who together built the house of Israel. May you prosper in Ephrathah and be famous in Bethlehem. Just and so, before the eyes of men and heaven, Boaz redeemed Ruth, not with silver or gold, but with covenant and compassion. What began with famine and loss now stood bathed in morning light. The same God who had emptied Naomi's hands was now filling them again, with promise. The wedding was small, simple, like everything in my life had been. But beneath that simplicity, heaven was watching. There was joy in Naomi's eyes again, the kind that only grace can restore. And when Boaz took my hand beneath the open sky, I knew that all the pain, the wandering, the loss, had been leading here, to this moment of redemption. Boaz, my Redeemer, became my husband. And the Lord, in his mercy, allowed life to blossom once more. Soon after, I gave birth to a son. When I first held him, I remembered every tear I had ever shed, and how each one had watered the ground where this miracle now grew. The women of Bethlehem gathered around Naomi, their laughter echoing like a psalm. Blessed be the Lord, they said, who has not left you without a redeemer today. May this child bring you new life and joy in your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you, and who is better to you than 7 sons, has given him birth. Naomi took the child and held him close. Her face, once lined with grief, now softened with peace. She named him Obed. As I watched her cradle him, I thought of where we began, a barren land, a broken heart, an empty road. And now, in her arms, the promise of God was breathing. Obed grew, and his name carried through generations. He became the father of Jesse, and Jesse became the father of David, the shepherd, the king, the man after God's own heart. And from David's line, many years later, came the greatest Redeemer of all, born in the same town where my story began. Bethlehem, the house of bread, the place where famine turned into fullness and where loss became legacy. I often wonder how God weaves such stories, how he takes the forgotten, the foreign, the broken, and writes them into eternity. I was once a widow from Moab, a stranger in a strange land. I had no promise, no name, no hope. But when I chose to follow Naomi, when I whispered, "Your God will be my God," I stepped into a story greater than I could ever imagine. Now, when I look at the hills of Bethlehem, I no longer see sorrow. I see covenant. I see the faithfulness of a God who turns ashes into beauty and silence into song. For what began with emptiness ended with the birth of a king.